The night we launched our Silicone bowl, we got a order from an influencer. It was Kyrie Harvey. She's a mummy blogger, so has more influence than celebrities, I guess. And in one night, we just did hundreds of orders. That was crazy because we went from 10 orders a day to suddenly hundreds. I was still typing in people's addresses into a computer and putting a sticker on a box and whatnot. So I had to learn very quickly what it meant to do bulk. That was a major turning point for us.
Welcome to Getting to the Heart of Business, brought to you by The Online Co, where we believe the best way to help small and medium businesses grow is by putting people first. I'm James Parnwell, and in this episode, I'll introduce you to an old friend of mine, Laura Turner. When I first met her as a young person, she was thinking about becoming a psychologist. The business was about the furthest thing from her mind. But everything changed after she had her first baby. Now she's running a wildly popular online store for mums called Wild Indiana. With me is co-host and marketing pro Jess Caluso. G'day, Jess.
Hey, James.
Now, you're not only a marketing expert, but you're also a mum.
Yes.
Of a small person.
Very small.
Describe dinner time to me.
Okay, so my daughter is nearly 12 months old, so she's in this stage of really starting to get into good solid foods.
Yeah.
So we're trying lots of different textures and colours and things like that. So we put a bit of a tarp down on the floor under the high chair to make clean up easier.
Yes, you're reading my mind, yes.
Yeah. So it's quite messy. I do recall saying probably about 15 times now in the last month alone to my husband, I don't know why we bother vacuuming and mopping because we have to do it every day.
Well, I've got 4 kids. They're a bit older now, but feeding time at the zoo comes to mind.
Yeah, with 4, I can bet.
So you're familiar with Laura's product?
I am.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be gifted Laura's.
Some nice person gave you a...
Bowls. Yeah, it was actually a bribe.
Okay.
It worked though.
All right, so before Jess came to work for us, we may have bought her a present. And
it was a congratulations present.
It was, yes.
That was the first.
And it was very helpful and practical.
I still use it today.
Calling it a bribe is a little bit rude.
Cheeky. Let's go cheeky. It's a very good bowl though.
Tell us about how it works.
It's so
Enough
good.
banter.
It is a good bowl. It was a Silicone baby's bowl. So it sticks to the tray of the high chair. So it suctions onto the high chair. So my daughter, Georgia, can't lift it up and throw it across the room.
Which is a thing.
Which she does, yeah. She has this obsession with picking up things and throwing them off the high chair. I think it's an important learning milestone, but I'll leave that to parenting experts to talk about.
Well, not being able to throw it's the first thing. If she did magically get it up, it wouldn't smash.
That's right. It wouldn't smash because it's really flexible and soft.
Made out of rubber.
Or silicone.
Probably should have researched that before I started talking.
I'm quite sure it's made out of silicone. Put it in the microwave, put it in the dishwasher. It's this really beautiful, like pink, this soft pastel-y pink colour.
Did you wear it as a hat?
Look, I probably wouldn't. Children do.
Okay. Well, in today's interview, you'll hear how Laura, mum of 3, fell into her business quite by accident. And it started as a hobby that grew, and during COVID lockdown in 2020, it exploded. So Laura's story is a real inspiration that goes to show that with a little help, you can be a parent and run a successful business at the same time. Laura, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So 5 years ago, you and your husband Luke had your first child, a little girl named Indiana. And it's almost like a business was born at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us how it all started.
Well, Indy was born and my husband made a wooden play gym, and it was just a little wooden frame with some toys under it, and she would lie under it and it would sort of give me 5 minutes peace, or I could drink my coffee.
It's important at that stage, yes. Little piece.
And at the time I was on maternity leave and I'd just become a new mum, and there was this sort of debacle of going back to work, but, you know, I didn't want to leave this baby that I had did. This whole new world had just opened up to me, and it seemed crazy to think about I'd have 9 months with this baby and have to go back into the workforce. And so we decided maybe we could start selling this wooden frame, and I wasn't sure what I was passionate about at that stage. Yeah. But I just knew that I wanted to do something different. And I started a social media account. It was quite a new thing at that time to be selling things on Instagram. Yeah. So I started an Instagram and we sort of built a bit of a following. I connected with some other mums and other business owners, and it sort of grew from there.
You mentioned you weren't quite sure what you're passionate about.
Yes.
And it's, I think maybe through movies and stuff, we're taught to follow our heart and follow our passions. And we don't necessarily know what that is.
No.
And I often think you want to look at what's in your heart and you want to be true to that. But also you want to look at what's in your hand.
Yes.
And that's what you've done. You've seen something in your hand
Yes.
and said, all right, maybe we can start making these.
Yes.
So Luke's a chippy.
Yes.
And he started making them.
Yeah, so he started making the play gyms, and he has an apprentice, and they started making just a couple of play gyms, and we started, selling them to a couple of people, a couple of friends. And then it got to the point where they were making hundreds of play gyms, and we'd have pizza nights and all the apprentices would come and we'd make hundreds of play gyms. And then I was up at all hours of the night painting and making the toys that hang off it. And it's sort of something that began just so that I could spend more time with my daughter was sort of growing quite fast to the point where we had to look at outsourcing. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a product whose demand is demanding more sales.
Yes, yeah.
And so now you're going, all right, how can we create some systems?
Yes.
And was the demand driven by social media or was it word of mouth at that point?
A little bit of both. The social media game was a bit of a slow one because you have to build community and build a bit of trust. And obviously I didn't have a background in business or anything like that. So it was sort of just, I was a new mum trying to sell a product.
So what was special about the play gym?
I think it was what it could give that mum. It wasn't anything special in the product as such. It was a wooden frame with some toys under it. But it was simple enough for a newborn baby to lie under and not be overstimulated. And it was the idea of being able to give mum 5 minutes break. And that's what all mums want. They want that little bit of space. They want that, that time to have a hot coffee.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So it's just interesting that at that point you were your own target customer.
Yes.
So you understood them.
Yes.
Really well.
Yes.
And no doubt you were surrounded by people that were similar. So you've just created something that makes sense for them.
Yeah, that's right.
How do the apprentices feel? They're going, I'm going to go and build houses and end up building play gyms.
They actually loved the challenge. They really did. They loved it because we would make it fun. We'd have the pizza night and they would come and it was very repetitive, but it was also fun.
Sense of team.
Yeah.
So you got a couple of years in and you shifted to a different product, the silicone bowl.
Yes.
Tell us about the bowl and tell us about the shift towards that bowl.
Yeah. So the play gym became quite laboursome only because we were painting, we were sanding, we were beading. It was very handmade. Luke and I were doing it all. We then decided to outsource this and we got it made elsewhere and we realised the beauty of having that product ready-made. We changed the direction of the business to not just nursery decor as such, not just being a pretty brand, but I really wanted to solve problems for mums out there. And I really wanted to have products that solved a problem for a mum and gave them confidence to be a mum. And so I was, for ages, looking at these silicone bowls. I couldn't find any on the market here in Australia that I really liked and that would work. We then sourced one, I got it custom made and we brought it out. And when we launched it, it kind of put us on the map, I guess, as business. A lot of people saw that and wanted the bowl because it solved a problem. It suctions to a high chair and it's microwave, dishwasher safe, stops your bub from throwing it off the high chair. So it solved a problem for mum.
They love doing that. Why?
Yeah.
Children.
Yeah. It gets very messy.
Yes. Been there, done that with 4 kids of my own. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. So we wanted to solve that problem for mum and also have something that was very durable but pretty and beautiful looking. Yeah.
So you really hit on 2 things there. One is the product itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, we joke about it, right? The kids chucking the food off, but it's real issue.
Yeah.
And it's a pain. And it suctions to the chair.
Yes.
It's not going to smash.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's all of those, but they're all external things.
Yes.
And they're important. And often we market products or services on the external.
Yeah.
If you get an electrician in, you are going to get a new PowerPoint. It's an external thing. But then there's an internal problem that you're solving as well.
Absolutely.
Something going on inside
Yes.
that person. You started talking about confidence for mums.
Yeah.
Can you unpack that a little further for me?
Yeah.
How does a bowl give confidence to a mum?
Yeah. So part of the whole why behind my business is I really want mums to know that they have what it takes to be a mum and be a good mum. And if we could do that through products and an online community, that was sort of my purpose of where I wanted to go. So by bringing out a bowl that gave them the confidence that their bubs would maybe sit in the high chair and not throw their bowl, and have them be a part of the community, online community, where they could come to every day and maybe not feel so lonely. I think through the product and the marketing that goes around it, we always share with our mums, you have what it takes, you can do the hard things. And starting solids for mums is a big thing, especially for a new mum. You've got to introduce food, you've got to introduce the high chair, the utensils and things like that. And if through a product we can just take care of that for them and give them the confidence that they have what it takes to start solids, that they have what it takes to step into that milestone, that's a win for us.
Help them into that next phase.
Yeah, definitely. All of our products, we have a few different products now, all based at milestones and solving a problem for mums.
So having a community, possibly for mums who are sitting at home. For you were working and now you're at home alone with this little human who you love and is a pain in the neck at the same time. All of those things costing you sleep, all the mental torture of that.
Yes.
And you're saying, hey, let's breathe some life back into this mum.
Yeah.
Is your psychology degree background coming through here?
A little bit early on, we started a developmental series where I really was trying to funnel my psychology into that and share with parents like how important having a baby with their gross and fine motor skills and develop them, and I really tried to funnel it that way. I sort of came away going, my passion is people. I love to help people. I have such a passion for mums in need and that are going through motherhood, because I've experienced motherhood. It can be so lonely. It can be such a big thing. And I think that is where my heart is. So yes, my psychology degree does help a little bit with my business, but at the end of the day, I just really want to help mums.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. We always say the best way to grow a small and medium business is to put people first, and that means understanding your customer, but having a genuine, heartfelt desire to make a difference tends to permeate through what you do. When you first purchased the bowl, you've imported this from overseas?
Yes.
And was there a risk there?
Yes, a huge risk.
Because it's never been done here. And in hindsight, you go, of course it's going to work. But when you're there, you're going, I'm going to invest some money and I'm not I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I spent months looking at it going, will this work? Won't it work? It's from overseas. I've never done this before. I've never imported. I've never done something custom. I've never spoken to factories over there. That was a whole new thing, talking to factories over there, talking to suppliers, the language barriers, the different big business words that they use over there. And so that was all a brand new
thing.
thing.
Importing games, a whole lot of language and taxes and
So I learnt a lot there. So the night we launched our Silicone bowl, we got a order from an influencer, and in one night we just did hundreds of orders. And to me, that was crazy, because we went from getting 10 orders a day to suddenly hundreds of orders, and I was still singly typing in people's addresses into a computer and putting a sticker on a box and whatnot. So I had to learn very quickly what it meant to do bulk orders, and I think I reluctantly I still was holding on to that. It was just a hobby. My husband's business was going to be what made it for us. And then we sort of realised how much a product-based business was going to work for us over a time-based business. And that was a major turning point for us. My husband was really pushing, saying, you can't keep doing this from your bedroom sort of thing. You need to take it seriously. So I think that.
So he's really backed you in this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He has.
And now
really
he works
backed me.
with you.
Yes. Yeah.
So I want to unpick that because you just said it quickly. Oh, an influencer just picked it up. I mean, this is everybody's dream.
Yes.
So this is on.
Yeah.
You're on Instagram.
Yes.
You've launched your product. You've been posting photos, videos,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah.
And someone who has a massive audience.
Yes.
Has bought one, commented,
Yeah, they
reposted?
bought one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they've pushed it out to there.
Yeah.
Can you say who it was?
It was Kyrie Harvey. She's a mummy blogger,
Right.
which has more influence than celebrities, I guess, online.
Right, so she has the authority and the respect
Yes.
in the right
Yes.
target audience.
That's right, yeah.
Now, you didn't contact her. There was no outreach. She
No.
just found you.
Yeah, and that was years of building a community online of people that would then talk to their friends and share photos, and then somehow she then reached my photo and she saw the bulb.
And that's accelerated you massively.
Yes, definitely.
It starts growing rapidly.
Yes.
When I speak with small and medium business owners, I generally find that they don't really know what their competitors are up to. I wonder if you've ever taken the time to analyse the competitive landscape of your industry. When we do this for clients, we typically find one of two things. Either there's a hero out there, somebody who has taken the time to craft their message, think through their overall strategy, and is executing it awesomely, and they are probably dominating your market. That's the first thing. The second thing we find is that nobody's really picked up the act. That gives you a real opportunity to be the hero straight up. You're probably in one of those places where you can look at that hero and take some ideas from what they're doing. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Or alternatively, you can get out there ahead of the pack and dominate from the start. This is just one of the ideas we talk about in our digital marketing playbook. If you feel that this would be helpful for your business, please feel free to book a quick chat, and you can find us at theonlineco.net. Now, I have to say that in business, you've always got problems. There's good problems and there's bad problems.
Yeah.
Growing rapidly is a good problem. It's still a problem.
Yes, definitely.
You started at home with half a bedroom, and then it started getting bigger.
Yes.
So what did that process look like?
Yeah, it was just in our bedroom. All hours of the night we were packing orders. We just started growing. We then decided to add on the wholesale arm. So there was also that demand coming. And then we decided we needed a bigger space. So we actually moved house.
Yeah.
So we fitted out a garage and we had a home office. And then the boxes started overtaking our house.
Boxes everywhere.
So we had a spare room that was full of boxes. And then actually COVID hit. And my husband has a service-based business, and obviously mine's a product-based business. His service-based business took a massive hit with COVID, and my product-based business just tripled.
Okay.
Because everyone was at home online shopping.
Yes.
So, yes, and so there was a lot of mums as well at home shopping. And so COVID, I know it had a massive effect on a lot of businesses, but for ours, it just tripled overnight.
Then you ended up in a factory.
Yes.
You also went to a trade show. How'd that go?
It was amazing. That was another point where it was a bit of a pinch me moment, and I learnt a lot from that trade show, from the people around me, because they'd been there for years, doing years and years of trade show, and this was my first. And the point of a trade show basically is to get the attention of retailers to stock your products. So we were brand new there, and stockists would come and see our things, and that's when they chose to put us in their toy shops.
How many retail stores in Australia?
At the moment, we have about 170 that are stocking our products all over Australia.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and this comes back to the uniqueness of what you have that
Yes.
hasn't seen it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Did it sell itself in a way?
Yes, definitely. It sold itself, I think. The bowl was quite different to other things on the market. The colours were not the normal tacky kid stuff that you just see everywhere. We were able to sell aesthetically pleasing, beautiful things that mums want in their home and to take photos of.
Well, there's a little clever marketing thing there that the customer's not the baby. The customer's the mum.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
so making the colours that the
Yes.
mum likes makes a
Yes.
lot more sense than making colours
Yes.
that the baby likes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like any entrepreneur or business owner, you've probably made some mistakes or had some dark moments along the way.
Yes.
Can you share one of those with us?
Yeah, I think we got to a point where we were so just wanting to outsource things, and we were quite tired of making the play gyms, and it wasn't working with this lifestyle that we thought we would have. We've got, very little kids, and we decided to invest a whole lot of money into getting the play gyms made and getting the accessories made. So we had 500 play gyms, which might not seem like much, but at the time it was a big investment for someone else to make these play gyms for us. And when they came, they were all faulty, they were all wrong, and we'd already sent a majority of them out to our customers. And at the time, it felt so damaging to our brand because we'd sent out these awful quality play gyms, and we'd also invested a lot of money into them. And at the time I thought, why am I doing this? What am I doing this? And I thought I'd made a big mistake, but to be honest, the way that we were able to then deal with that and come back to our customers and serve them and love them and either refund or give them something else, and the way that we dealt with that, I feel like that also proved our business and made repeat customers. And so those customers, I've still got customers that remember that time of business where we made that huge mistake, but our customers still today and still talk to me, are still part of our online community, and they remember that.
Yeah, so I think people are generally pretty forgiving if you own up.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and the minute you start hiding things, they'll nail you.
That's right.
In the middle of that time, you start asking the big questions, right? Should I be in this business?
Yeah.
Are we ever going to recover? What was going on inside?
A lot of self-doubt, I think. I really had to dig deep and go, why am I doing this? And then I really had to come back to the why of why I wanted to help mums, the different avenue of business that I wanted to be a part of. So I really wanted to create a business where I could stay at home with my kids.
Yep.
I really wanted to have something that worked for our lifestyle and not have to serve work as such, but have work around our life and the life that we were choosing with our kids. And so I really had to dig deep and go, why am I doing this? How can we solve this problem? Let's refine our products. Let's have a whole new process for quality checking. Let's not just do baby play gyms. Let's bring on silicone bowls. Let's do this. So we definitely had to put our head down, bum up, and change the direction of our business. But I think that came from finding our why and being in a bit of a ditch. And we wouldn't have got there if that hadn't have happened.
So really, without that big mistake, you wouldn't be where you are
definitely
today.
not. No, definitely
so I hear this over and over again.
Yes.
Because people don't want to make mistakes.
Yes.
They don't want the pain. They don't want the suffering.
No.
And of course,
No.
I don't. But without them,
Yes.
we're generally not motivated enough to
Change.
To pivot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pivot's the word of 2020. Sorry, everybody. You've probably heard enough of that. But it's true.
Yeah.
In every business step, you need to pivot. And so you've essentially dropped one product which was good and picked up another product that was great.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it sort of rounded out the why of our business. So we found that we were really trying to go down the avenue of milestones with babies. So you've got baby play, you've got starting solids, and then you've got mums going out on the go. So it really rounded out our why, definitely.
Yeah, and the why is so important.
Definitely.
Because if the why wasn't big enough, you wouldn't have kept going.
Yes, yeah.
And you're saying that there's a deep why. I can hear that. The deep why is to help mums.
Yes.
But the other one is, I don't want to go back to the office. I want to be with my kids.
Yeah.
And if I can have kids and a successful business, why don't I do that?
Absolutely.
And that's totally worth persisting for.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, we're a marketing company, so I'm very interested in what you're doing marketing-wise, and I'm sure the listeners would love to know what's working. So Instagram, Facebook, all your social media. Can you give us highlights of what you're doing?
So a couple of things. I think building a strong online community has been a big marketing tool for me. The fact that we have... we've got 34,000 followers on Instagram, and that was built over time and engagement with other people. I would engage with a lot of influencers, so I would send a lot of free products out in the early years.
Yep.
That was a big thing of getting a good, strong following base. I I think I'm very relatable to my customers in my stories and on my posts.
Yes.
So as a mum,
Well, you are a customer.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
You're really
and
living
so
what they're living.
yeah, exactly. So just even engaging with them, it does take time, obviously, out of my day to be on social media engaging with other mums, but at the same time, they're my customers and they're my repeat buyers, and they constantly buy from me. Facebook ads has been a massive thing for us.
Yep.
Definitely Facebook ads, Instagram ads. That's been a big marketing thing as well for us.
And when somebody buys something or registers with you, you get their email.
Yes.
And then you're able to stay in contact with them via email.
Yes. So we've got a lot of email flows set up. We've got abandoned carts. We've got welcome emails. We've got lots of different touch points with our customers to make them feel loved. And yeah.
You say email's beautiful in that you can just let people know that you're still here.
Yes,
if you just
that's right.
constantly drip something towards them. And often, even if they don't read the email, just delete it.
Yes.
They've still seen
That's right.
your name.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
We've definitely been able to tap into email in the past year, and we've seen huge growth from that.
And so at some point you started hiring people.
Yes. I had a young girl working for me for a few years who would just come and help me on a casual basis. But it's really only been in the last year that I've hired people on a more full-time basis. And Joe downstairs has taken over all my customer service. Before that, it was all me. It's literally only been in the last 3 months that I've been able to give that over and do the direction of the business. I couldn't actually drive the business, all the campaigns, all the marketing. It was very like, oh, I didn't reply to that customer about their lost spoon. Like, this is just, yeah.
And I don't know Jo, but it's possible she's just better at that.
Yeah, she is. The way she responds to emails, I'm like, man, you were so nice to that customer.
Yeah, well, and someone's angry and you take it personally because it's your business and your product.
I
and
do,
your dream
and I
and your
lose
baby.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before that first hire, it was very much a hobby, and as soon as I brought people into the game, I had to take myself seriously. I had to take the business seriously. I had to take myself as a leader seriously, which was a massive change. Yeah.
So now do you find yourself skilling up, doing different things? And what is it that you do to kind of feed yourself at this stage of your business?
Yeah, definitely. In the last year, I've found that I've had to learn quick. I've had to really get myself around people that are doing way bigger, better things than me. I've leveraged off their knowledge, their skills. I've got around people that are able to help me learn the financial side of things. So accountants, I've had to have a lot of meetings where I'm learning profit and loss sheets and really getting my head in that because I didn't have a business background at all. The Online Co podcast.
Okay. I'm glad it's been helpful.
Setting up coffee dates with people that don't even know me, and I'm just so desperate to learn how they did business. And so I'll just get around them, and I definitely ask for a lot of advice.
Yeah, I mean, that's very wise. There's no question that there's people out there that have made the mistakes you're about to make.
Yes.
And basically you learn from them and then you don't make that mistake.
Yes.
What have you learned about stress management throughout this growth phase? Because you're dealing with children.
Yes.
You told me before the interview you're a bit sleep deprived. That's
Yes.
pretty normal. How old's your youngest?
6 months.
Right, so you're
Yes.
right in the thick of it, and then you're dealing with the business and that stress. How do you look
Yes.
after yourself?
I feel like in the last year, I've really had to look at the structure of my business. There was a common thought that I was having that I was the only one that could do it and no one else could do it better than I could. And I think outsourcing a lot of things has really helped me to the point where I love outsourcing now. And I think Josh said it in the interview before, leveraging off other people's skills. And that is just one thing I've definitely done in the last year. Everyone can do everything better than me. Like, I love bringing people together and someone else might be able to pack something better than me and market things, and especially graphics and design and things like that. I think Luke coming on and helping the business has definitely helped.
He's sharing the load.
Yeah, we're sharing the load, and it sort of feels like we're doing parenting together, which is really lovely. Right. Just realising what's important as well. And I think my idea of success in the last year has changed so much. I think before I saw us running these 2 successful empires as this thing that we were so driven for, but it was crushing us. And we were dealing with anxiety and things like this. And in the last year, we've just had to realign why we want these businesses and what we're doing it for.
So there's a dream there, and you perhaps have re-looked at the dream and said, actually, it's the wrong dream.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And the pressure of that dream was causing anxiety.
Absolutely. And we had this big dream and what you think when you're going to get successful, what your life will look like and who the person you'll be when you're successful. But you sort of get there, and I always had this goal of, 6 figures, and now we're almost at 7 figures. And way back 5 years ago, I might have thought that was successful, but I'm still the same Laura here. And yeah, I think it's just all changed.
So where are you headed in the future? What's Wild Indiana look like in 1, 5, 10 years' time?
Yes. Definitely want to bring on more products that solve more problems for mums and give them the confidence to do the hard things and keep being a better mum. So this year we've got a lot of new products coming on.
Great. It's exciting.
Yeah. And just, I think, continue building a business that serves us and the stage of life that we're at, I guess. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us, Laura.
Thank you.
A lot of gems in there, both sort of philosophical gems, but a bunch of practical gems as well. So thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, that was Laura Turner. You can find out more about her at wildindiana.com.au. And the best place to find out how she does her marketing is to go onto Instagram and just do a search for Wild Indiana. The way she markets herself on Instagram is fantastic. Jess, I'd really love your thoughts on what she's doing there.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have like the guide on how to market on Instagram, just follow her, right?
So no matter your business, just go and follow her and do some learning.
And have a look. Her Instagram page is fantastic.
Yeah.
I've watched her for a little while now, but probably about 8 months or so.
What things can you glean for people to take away?
The main one is she's staying on top of the technology. So she's using stories and reels, which are a new thing. Well, stories aren't that new, but reels are newish with Instagram, and she's using them. So she's working with the algorithm rather than just posting to her profile, which she is doing. She's doing that and she does it well, but she's also using all of the features the platform has. She's present, she's there frequently.
She's really consistent.
She's really consistent. And on top of all of that, she posts content that her audience wants to see. So she's doing everything right. She's using the app to its full potential. She's staying in line and working with the algorithm, and she's posting content that her users want to see.
And her images are fantastic.
They're great. They're showing people who are using the products so people can see it. They can put themselves in the shoes of the customer and say, yep, I can see how this is going to work in my life. The content is engaging. It's fun.
Yeah.
She's just ticking all boxes with it.
You mentioned putting herself in the shoes of the customer. She's probably got a head start on a lot of people in that she is the customer.
She is the customer. That's right.
3 small kids.
That's right. And that's, I suppose, one of the differences between her and some other people that we interviewed on the podcast, or just other businesses in general. You're not always your own customer, right? Whereas she is. I mean, having said that, just because you are your own customer, that doesn't mean that you necessarily know what you want to see.
No, that's exactly right.
But she's done that really well.
So she had this tipping point where she had maybe tens of orders a day and went to hundreds through an influencer.
Yes.
Tell me about influencer marketing.
It's an interesting topic because there's a couple of ways to go about it. So the way that Laura's done it is it sort of happened organically for her. She had been posting great content for a long time. Her community had been sharing it, and the influencer reached out to her. Perfect. You know, that's the dream scenario, right? But that doesn't always happen for everybody. The best way to engage with influencers is look for people who are genuinely an influencer with your industry.
Yeah.
You know, if you're selling silicone bowls to mums, there's really no need to be targeting somebody in the fitness industry.
Right.
You know, it's got to be aligned, right?
Yeah, and a mummy blogger was who came along.
That's right. So it was the perfect person.
She has quite a intelligent way of messaging, a real caring way.
Yeah, so her messaging on her Instagram bio, one of the points says, "Got your back, mama." So her messaging is not talking to her products or
No.
to what she sells, but it's really talking to the psyche of her target market, mums.
Yeah.
Mums, we always feel like we need some support. We never feel like we're doing it quite right. So to know that you've got that support and she shapes her messaging around that, it's a really, really smart thing that she's done.
Absolutely, because we always say to put people first, and that's what she's doing.
Exactly right. She
People
is.
will follow her and just feel encouraged whether they buy the bowl or not.
Yeah. So James, Laura was talking about she started to surround herself with some experts or people that she felt had expertise in different areas of business.
Yeah.
Talk to me about why you think that's necessary.
Well, she did this in two ways. The first way is paid experts. You need a good accountant, you need a good bookkeeper, you need someone who can help
Such
you
a
with
good
the
investment,
legals.
right?
Absolutely. So investing well for those people can save you an enormous amount of money, but an enormous amount of heartache as well. But then she's talking about friends, and she's found herself some friends in business. And this is a wonderful idea where other people that are going through what you're going through, and you're not sitting there picking each other's brains on like a business tactical level, you're just friends. And you start to pick up and think the way they think, and you learn sort of by osmosis. And it's just really encouraging, a really great way to do life.
It is, isn't it? Because sometimes, in business, it's quite lonely.
Can be.
You have those chats with people, hey, how you going? How are things? And sometimes you don't quite open up. But if you start to surround yourself with a couple of people who you can be quite close with and, I suppose, open up to, that helps to make all the difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up next week, you'll hear the riveting story of Phil Callaghan, the guy behind the wheel of a company called LoadShift. He disrupted the trucking industry in Australia in the mid-2000s through tech innovation and an online marketplace where truckers and shippers can meet. Through blood, sweat and probably quite a few tears, Phil worked tirelessly on launching his brilliant company that he knew would work if only he could figure out how to monetize it. It's quite a story. This episode of Getting to the Heart of Business was brought to you by The Online Co, produced by Claire Bruce, music by Harry Parnwell, and you can find us at theonlineco.net. We'd love you to stop by and join the conversation on our Facebook group. Subscribe and share this episode with anyone who you think it might be helpful for.